Hi everybody, welcome back to another Cooking with Abbie. Today we're going to make something really simple, but I think it's something that if you can get it right, you can have breakfast, a lunch, a dinner for the price of under £1, and you can make it any time and you can jazz it up to suit yourself. So what we're going to make is a proper French omelette. It's one of my favourite things to make. It takes literally minutes and it's so sort of mindful and therapeutic to make, and it's so delicious to eat, and it's just one of my favourite things. And I think if you can make a really good omelette, you can have it for your breakfast, you can have it for your lunch, and you can have it for your dinner, so you will never be hungry. And I know that eggs at the moment are, you know, sometimes in the supermarkets you can't get eggs, but I've always found that in the littler shops they generally do have quite a lot of eggs. I've never not managed to get any. So my omelette recipe is, I'm going to do 3 eggs. You could do 2. 1, you won't get the same sort of creaminess to it. So I'm going to do 3 eggs. I'm going to put some cheese on mine. You don't have to. And I've got some herbs from the garden. So the only thing I have at the moment is some sorrel. My favourite in it is chives. Parsley's really nice as well. I just like those little flecks of colour. But again, you don't even have to add herbs. You could literally do eggs and that's it. So I'm going to crack 3 eggs into this jug. And eggs are one of the most amazing foods. They're a complete food. So they've got all your amino acids in, which are your building blocks of protein. So they're what you need to make your neurotransmitters in your brain. So they're what you need to make your serotonin that's going to make you feel good. But it's also got a lot of choline in it, which we need in the brain to help ourselves concentrate. And it also helps to build our brain. So they're one of the most amazing foods and they're so underrated. So I've got 3 eggs in there. I'm going to add a little drop of water. I usually add about a tablespoon. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. I try to use sea salt because it's full of minerals. And salt will break down the whites in the egg so that it becomes a bit more silky when you whip them. And then I'm going to add, some pepper as well, just because I like the flavour of it. So I'm going to give it a good whisk up, and I've got my pan on a medium heat just to heat up. Here we are. So you can see they've mixed together really nicely. So I'm going to add some olive oil to my pan. So it's about half a tablespoon. And I'm going to add a knob of butter. I add the butter for taste. But if I was to just cook in butter, the butter might burn, whereas the olive oil stops the butter from burning in the pan. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit so I can get it so it can melt. So I'm going to melt my butter into this pan. And once you can make these omelettes, you can add anything you like to them. So you could add some chopped spinach. In the freezer department at the supermarket, you can buy these little blocks of frozen chopped spinach. If you just leave 1 or 2 out overnight in a little bowl covered, by the morning it's defrosted and you can just whip it into your egg. If you're going to add something wet like a frozen spinach, maybe don't add the water, but you know, it probably wouldn't make that much difference. You can add little cubes of ham. You could add some little bits of bacon. So if you had the day before made a breakfast with some bacon in it, you could cook an extra slice and chop it up. You can add some peas with a bit of mint, which would be really nice. And my son likes smoked salmon because I seem to have children with very expensive tastes. So I've got my egg ready. My pan, you can see the butter has melted. It's usually at about a medium heat, but you'll know as soon as you put your egg in. So I'm about to add my egg into the pan, so just add the whole lot into the pan. Can you hear it sizzling? Okay, so everything is now into the pan, and this is a recipe, although it only takes minutes, it's not to be rushed because it's such a lovely recipe to do. So you just pull in the sides, and then the wet egg from the middle will go to the outside to cook. So you can see round here, this has already started to cook. So I'm going to pull it in and tip my pan to fill up the spaces. It's such a lovely thing to do. I love watching it fill the spaces. I love the colour of it. And you just keep doing this until the egg doesn't tip anymore. And you're starting to sort of break the omelette up rather than, so you can see here, there's still a little bit of the wet egg. You don't want your egg fully cooked till it's solid anyway. You're going to get many more nutrients from your egg if you leave it slightly runny. So you know, when you make a poached egg or a fried egg, if you leave your yolk slightly runny, you're going to get far more nutrients from it. So you can see I can't get any more of that egg to go into the gaps anymore. So we're now at the stage where we can add our cheese, and I love that. Look at that. That looks like a bed on a Sunday morning where you've lain in your bed and had your breakfast in bed, and you might have read the papers, and you get out and it's all rumpled. I love that look. So I'm just going to sprinkle my cheese on top. I'm just going to leave it for, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, not much longer than that. And then I'm going to start rolling it up. And the residual heat from the omelette will melt your cheese a bit more. So you just very carefully roll your egg up from the edges, and you can see it's got that lovely golden brown colour. Might be easier if I had a fish slice so it's a bit wider, but we've started now. So I've got it to about there, and then I'm just going to tip it onto the plate and roll it out like a rolled up duvet. It really does have that feeling for me of Sunday mornings. So there we go. We've got a beautiful French omelette that's all folded up. And if I just show you the middle, it just is so gooey and oozy. And it's just such a delight to eat. I hope you really enjoy this. The first time you do it, it might break, it might fall on the plate and not roll beautifully. You might cook it for slightly too long, which means it won't roll as well. But you know, 2 or 3 times of doing an omelette, you know, have one every Sunday for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I guarantee you will be an expert, and you'll be so glad you spent the time learning to do it. It is literally one of the cheapest, easiest, satisfying, quickest recipes that I know that will also do you the world of good in terms of how you feel, and I really hope you give it a try.